All right, I'm live. And what day is today? All right, today is the 18th of July, which is kind of a big day for me. The 19th is the day that I escaped out of Scientology 25 years ago. So, tonight was a big night for me. It really was. I'm going to wait till a few more guys come on, and then I'm going to tell you about it. But it was kind of interesting. I had been leading up to it. My friend Andreas Helderland in Norway had actually met me online and helped me kind of wake up. I had already been reading like 10 years of books. Hey, hi, Pixie. Thank you for coming on. So I had been reading self-improvement books, not anything against Scientology, just self-improvement books. But that helped, I think, strip off a lot of the mind control because I was just able to think. Hi, Wesley. Thank you for coming on. So tonight is a very special night for me because tomorrow is when, hello, John, I believe. Oh, thank you, JB808. That was very sweet of you. Oh, that's a nice 25th anniversary gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very kind. I really, really appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Looking beautiful as always. Thank you. It is a happy 25th. It really is. I mean, I just think, oh my God, what was it like 25 years ago? And hi, Y2 Watcher. Yep, I'm live. And Site Cater. All right. I know. It's kind of wild. It really is. But I'll tell you this. Have you guys heard? Did I tell you this story about me and Kathy going to dinner and Bill and the whole thing? I mean, I think I've said it before, but I don't know if you guys have heard it. JB808, have you heard it about me going to dinner with Kathy Yachty, Bill Yachty's wife? Aloha. He's not answering. I don't recall. Okay. All right. I will. I'm going to tell it in a couple minutes because it's pretty significant for me. It really was. I'm doing good, Alice. Thank you. I went to the doctor today, saw the doctor. It was great. We had like really a whole good time. Congratulations, Tori Nola. Thank you for sharing your message for so many years. You earned me about the cult. You earned me about the cult when I almost joined. Ooh, 10 years ago. You mean I saved you or I educated you? Anyway, you didn't get in. Good. I love it. It's 25 years coming up tomorrow. Alice, glad to hear I'm doing good. Yeah, me too. They gave me some antibiotics to take. But this is a pretty good story. I'll tell you. All right, so should I start? It's up to you guys. Aloha, love it. All right, I'll start anyway because they can always go back and listen to it. So, thank you, Janet. That was so kind and generous. I know, what a kind gift. 25 years. That's a wonderful, wonderful gift. Thank you, JB808. I really appreciate it. Hey. Marina, hi. Yeah. 25 years of freedom. I know it's just awesome. It really is. Everywhere I go, I tell people about it, and they're like, "Really? Wow!" And I'm like, "Yep, it is." So, what happened 25 years ago tonight? I'd been with Andreas online, and Andreas had kind of helped me wake up. He basically said a few major things that I'm just going to say just because I think it's important for anybody who might be plugging in that is still in. And I said, why do you have up that stuff about my religion? And he said, I believe in truth. I believe in looking at both sides, and I have the courage to say what I think. I don't think Scientologists are bad. I just think they're misinformed. I suggest you start reading. And I was terrified to read on the internet because Bill had scared me to death on it. But I thought, all right, I will. So I looked on the internet on ARS, and there was a thing from Mary Tabayoyan, which she passed away, but I will always thank you, Mary. And it was titled, Ladies, if you're thinking of joining the Sea Org, read this. And I was always wanting to go back in the Sea Org. So I thought, all right, there's my thing to read. So I start reading it, just kind of innocently thinking, all right, what is this about, right? And it's all about enforced abortions. And they drove her over to the clinic and made her get it, and then made her get back on post the next day. And I sat and cried and cried and cried for 4 hours. I just couldn't stop crying. And I wrote to Andreas and I said, I don't know what to do. I really don't. I mean, and this is why I think Bill had my computer bugged, because they kind of knew stuff that was going down. But anyway, it was one of those things where it was just like, he said, I said, Andreas, if I leave, I'm going to lose every friend I have and my husband of 27 years. I don't know if my soul can take it. And he wrote me back and he said, I'm crying reading your email. I'm so sorry you're having to go through this, but I've got to ask you this one question. And this is a question I want everyone to remember and ask other people. What kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? So you can ask anybody in the cult that, if they're walking around, just say, I just have a question I wanted to ask you. You think if you leave, you'll lose all your friends, right? And they might answer, they might not, but you can just say, I just want to ask you, what kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? Anyway, it totally cracked open my Scientology Truman Show. And that was it. And I was like, I got to get out of here, Andreas. I'm 15 minutes from Mosa. So he set it up with Stacy. Stacy called me, and that's where we got it all set up, where tomorrow I was going to get on a van and go to LAX and go to Tampa and visit with them. She just said, just come visit. Thank God for your compassion and discernment. I think a lot of members would have dismissed her story as propaganda. Whose story? This is Andreas is a guy. Do you mean Andreas? You're thinking Andreas is a girl. Well, anyway, he's a guy. You know Andreas, right? Andreas Helderlin. He created Xenu.net. This is his website. He passed away last year. There you go. That's his website. Never was in, but man, the guy took on the church. Thank you, old Fritz. So I'm telling them about what happened 25 years ago tonight. Okay, so Stacy says, come here. I say, okay. They say, we'll have a ticket at LAX. Just go to LAX. Now, that night, Kathy Yachty calls me. Now, Kathy Yachty is like my husband. Neither of them knew anything about this at all. Bill and I were in on it. They were not. So I'm thinking, what? Okay. The one who had the story. Wait, I want to see what JB808 said. The one who had the story of, oh, yeah. Yes, that's right. Mary Tabayoyan. No, that's okay. That's correct. And then now I got to read what you said. Thank God for your compassion and discernment. I think a lot of members would have dismissed her story. Really? Well, I think you're right. I mean, I have to say, because of reading all those books, like I said, a lot of the brainwashing had kind of stripped off. So I was able to see things that, a few years ago, earlier, I wouldn't have been able to. Okay, so thank you for clarifying that, JB808. So now, yeah, what kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? Thank you. It's a great question. So that kind of cracked it open for me. And he set it up with Stacy where I could go there, visit them. That was it. But now Kathy calls me and goes, "Hi, Tori, it's Kathy." And we were friends for a long time. But now all this stuff had gone down with the top secret mafia, and I knew she didn't know about it. And it was just very weird. Now I'm going to escape out tomorrow. What? And she goes, "Well, I just wanted to have dinner with you." And I said, "Okay, Kathy, I'm just going to tell you something. I am not going to eat anywhere except in a public area." I mean, I was really afraid for my life at that point. And I thought they're going to come capture me. And so she said, "Okay, that's fine. Well, let's just eat at Kookaroo's." So we're eating at Kookaroo's. Nothing is being talked about. She doesn't know anything about me escaping. It's like we're just doing good roads fair weather kind of thing. And then we finish. And I think, God, this is weird. I mean, I'm literally all through the dinner looking over my shoulder like, are they going to come in? Is a whole bunch of them going to come in? Are they going to drag me out of here? I didn't know. I really didn't. But I'll tell you, I was scared. And I don't usually get scared, but I was scared that night. And she said, "Okay, thank you for having dinner with me. Now, Bill wants to talk to you at my house, at our house." And I said, "Kathy, I'm not going to go to your house." And I'd been to their house a million times. They were good friends of ours. And she kind of looked strange. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go there. But I am going to tell you this. If Covino walks in," who is the guy who ran the top secret mafia, and I said, "if Covino walks in or any Sea Org members, I will be calling the police." And you can imagine she doesn't know anything about this. So it was sort of like, okay, Tori's gone off the rails, which is probably what Bill told her. Survivor Tori, our hero. Poof, 9/11. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, each of you that just popped on. Hagabasher, hi. Okay, so, and Charles, hi. What does COS do at their community center? Totally different topic. I want to finish my story. I'm telling a story about going out to dinner with Bill Yachtie's wife. And now she wants me to go over to their house. So I go over to their house. Bill, who for the last 6 months, we've seen each other and we're like, hello, hello, which normally we're like, hey, Bill, hi, big hugs. Not for a long time. And so now I walk up and he goes, "Tori, hi." And he gives me a big hug. And he says, "Come on into my office." And I go in his office and he goes, "Do you realize you're the only person that's ever been in touch with Andreas?" And right there, I should have said, "How do you know I was in touch with Andreas?" But because we did have communication online, I thought, well, that could be it too. So I just let it be. So I said, "Well, it's not difficult to get in touch with him. It really isn't. I mean, it isn't." So anyway, he says, "Okay, come on in the living room." So I go in the living room and he goes, "Have a seat." And remember, he's my auditor. He's been doing this for years. And so we sit down and he goes, "What's going on?" And I go, "Nothing." Now, remember, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm escaping. I didn't know I was going to have to escape out. I just thought I was leaving quietly and under the radar. I wasn't planning on speaking out. I told you guys that. And he goes, no, come on. What's going on, Tori? I know you. What is going on? And all of a sudden I get this Homer Simpson bubble. And I think this is the last time ever in my life I'm going to have to put up with this shit where they're grilling you about stuff. What aren't you telling me and stuff like that. And I got a big smile on my face. And he goes, "All right, what's that?" And I said, let me just tell you this. You will be the first to know tomorrow morning. Because I knew I was going to post it at 2 a.m. Because he was always on the internet in the morning. He worked at the org in the afternoon, auditing and CSing. And then at night, he was on the internet again doing OSA. So at 2 a.m, I put Magoo left the building. And It was pretty monumental. I really didn't know how many people were on the internet. I only thought there were about 50 because I had tried to handle Bunker on the Battlefield Earth news or the message board. So I thought, how many people can there be on the rest of it? Probably 50 because there were 25, I figured, on the message board. Wrong. Anyway, I put my phone number there and put the Magoo left the building. Bunker said, you can Google it, and you can. I found it, and because I was trying to figure out when exactly did I leave, and he said, I know you asked me this before, and he said, I think we just looked up Magoo left the building, and that was it. That's the post. And you know what? It has all the ARS stuff, everybody's comments underneath it too, which is also really cool. Some people were very supportive. Some people were regretful that they hadn't been kinder. And some people were just, screw you, Magoo. We don't care what you say. We hate you. I was like, okay. So that's why, when people get in these kind of drama fights now, I'm like, I've been there. I know it. It's like the best thing to do is what Jesse Prince taught me. Step away from the stove. Just move along. Here's my TikTok star. That's right. True. I know. That's just incredible that you can go from going along with an organization and then so quickly become afraid for your life. I know it was pretty tricky, but I knew what I was doing. I knew what I knew. And I knew they didn't want it known. See, I mean, they really didn't. See, the critics were following all of because I was making all these posts. So they were like, I made 4,000 posts in 2 weeks on the internet, just in this little news group. And they were trying to track down, where is this coming from? And they pretty much found the house, not Yachtie's house, but they found another house where they were posting out of that. And so they knew, I knew a lot of stuff, and these critics knew a lot of stuff. So it was tricky because they really, really did not want anyone to know the Church of Scientology was connected with that. I mean, to this day, they don't want anyone. And to this day, ha, 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 Osa, there's more people speaking out now. You are toasted. And David Miscavige, that goes to you. I really can't even imagine what it must be like. It's really something most people will not be able to imagine. And that's also protects Scientology in a weird way. Not really. It doesn't. I know what you mean, but it doesn't really protect them. They're inch by inch, each of us telling our stories makes it come more into 3D. I mean, I know from being on TikTok, and when I first got there, they were like, what's Scientology? It's just sort of like they really knew nothing. And now they're starting to get it. And it's really interesting to see. It is. Janet said, your dad would have been so proud of the courage you showed. Magoo rocks. Oh, thank you. That means so much to me. It really does. Because I think you're right. I really do. I think about that all the time. And both with my brothers, too, because they're both doing really cool things, too. And when we were all, kind of like kids when they were alive, we weren't doing what they wanted us to do. And we still aren't doing what they want us to do. But I still think they would be proud of us because of, they just would. My one brother, David, lives in Thailand and is traveling all around the world. Now he's going to Europe and the Azoro Festival. And, he's just an incredible guy. And you can't hear his life story and not go, wow, that's something. It really is. And my other brother's written 10 books and they're all up on Amazon. So that's cool. So yeah, I think they would be. 49ers for life. Hi, I'm mutual with the whole SPTV and Aftermath Foundations. I just want justice against Scientology. That's fair. I'm with you on that. Valerie, question. Were you financially prepared when you left? Hell no. That's another great story. But I think I told you guys that where I went to the party, because I went to Clearwater, and then after a month I came back. And Harold, I thought was going to be on my side. Wrong. I don't know what they did to him, but he was all white and he just was standing out on the street going, "You left me." And I said, "I didn't leave you. I left a cult." And he just kept saying over and over, "You left me." And he had stripped my entire house. Everything that's in it was gone. Everything. And I was like, "What's going on?" And he goes, You're moving out." And I was like, "Okay." So I went and stayed with some of my friends for a couple of nights. And then one of my friends who used to be in Scientology invited me to a party. And he's a musician. And I said, "Okay." So I go, and this lady at the party, now this is like after I've escaped out and everything. And it's probably about maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I'm out. And she says, "So what do you do?" And I said, "I don't know. I escaped out of a cult. I really don't know." And she goes, "Well, where do you live?" And I said, "I don't know that either. My husband's kicking me out." And I've never met this lady before in my life, but I always tell this story because even if one person hears it who hasn't, this is a very important thing to remember. I never met this person in my life, and she changed my life. She did. And a lot of people did, because a lot of people helped me. But her particular thing was she looked at me and she said, "Tori, I can guarantee your credit is all in your husband's name." And I said, "True." And she said, "And you don't have a job?" I said, "Right." She said, "So no one is going to rent a room to you. So you are going to end up out on the street. So I'll tell you what, you are going to go home and tell your husband, no, you are not kicking me out. You're out." And it really, it was a dramatic thing. This is someone who never met me. She didn't know me, but she was smart enough to think it through and go, "No, you got to change what you're doing." Isn't that great? It really, really was cool. Now, wait, let me catch up a little bit here. Okay, I got the thing with 49ers for Life. Valerie, question. Oh, yeah, financially prepared. No, I wasn't at all. So luckily I had a couple of friends that let me stay with them. And then my husband moved out. As soon as I said, "You're moving out," he packed up and left. And then I got a job. That was it. It was like, okay, you got to get a job and start working. And there you go. What do you think will happen to Scientology after Miscavige? I have no idea. I really don't. And frankly, I don't really care. JB808, and I don't mean to be rude. It's just, it's not my game. And it's, all I want to do, I feel like Will's like, "I don't want to get people out. I just want to close this thing down." And that's kind of how I'm at now. Getting people out, that's on them. You know what I mean? I've spent 25 years trying to help people get out, and I've gotten a lot of people out. And I'll keep talking to people, but really, we just need to shut it down. It's time. We need to get their, all these licenses that they have taken away. So glad you encountered a few real life angels on earth who entered your life at the right time. You're one of them, man. You are. I know. It's so true. The very first angel, besides Bob, Stacy, and Jesse, who helped me get across the country, and then Mark Bunker, who, filmed all this stuff. But the very first person that I didn't know at all was Stacy's cleaning lady. And in Scientology, they have a thing where it's called PTS, where you're a potential trouble source, meaning you're connected to a suppressive person, which I am. But at the time, I wasn't. I had epilepsy. So they said, "Well, you're PTS. So who is antagonistic to Scientology?" And the only person I could think of was my mom. And it was just because she was ticked off that they were screwing around with my medicine, right? So now I forgot where I was. So glad you encountered a few real good angels. Oh, the cleaning lady. Okay, so they have a thing called PTS, which is you go up and down and up and down and up and down. And it's really thought of poorly in Scientology. Oh, they're very PTS. So you're not stable at all, right? So the cleaning lady, I sleep the first night in their house, in their guest room, and I come down the next day and I run into the cleaning lady, and she says, "Hi, I'm so and so. Would you like a piece of advice?" And I said, "Anything. I am void of any advice. So please, anything you have, I would appreciate it." And she said, and this is a great thing to remember also, she said, with all the stuff you've gone through in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, you are no doubt going to be going up and down and up and down and up and down. But she said, I want you to never forget you're actually circularly inside of that circle. You're going up and down and up and down, but you're overall going up. And it really helped me. It really did. It was just one of those things where it just, whenever I felt like, oh, I'm really down, I'd think of that and think, yeah, but I'm better than I was yesterday. So anyway, there you go. Now let me see. JP808. Yeah, I know. Different angels, and you guys are angels. So, you have to remember that and take advantage of it. I just realized what that means to leave even your husband. It was a lot. It really was. I mean, I honestly thought he was going to come with me. I was just going to go there and make sure they're not OSA, because I was with OSA. I wasn't working for them, but I was volunteering for them and around them, and I saw their top secret shit. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, what if these people are just part of OSA and they're just trying to get names of who's leaving, right? And they're pretending to help. So I figured I'll go there, make sure they're cool. I'll come back and get Harold. I really did. I didn't think it'd be any big deal. Wasn't. It didn't work out that way. You deserve so many hugs. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Love it. I would have probably crumbled. You don't know what you would do when you're in a situation like that. You really don't. It's impossible to imagine it because it's my situation. But when it's your situation, you'd be surprised, JB808. I'm pretty sure you'd come through it, whatever you had to do. What was your first job? Trying to think. I think my first job, it's hard for me to remember, but I think it was Trade and Barter, which was a company, I just was looking through the different job things, and it was a thing called Trade and Barter. And basically, I was selling their service of trading. And Trade and Barter is like, let's say, one guy's a dentist and the other guy's a car mechanic. So the person needs their teeth fixed. So the dentist does it for free and he gets credit on the computer. And then if he wants to get because the automobile guy signed up also, he can get his automobile fixed through that. You see what I mean? So I liked it. I thought it was a really cool job for a while. Then I started going to the city council meetings, and all of them had Scientologists in them, all of them. And it was sort of like, ugh. I remember this one guy came up and he said, we've got like 4 people in here. And I said, really? I said, well, I'm just going to tell you something. In a couple of minutes, you're going to be really sorry you told me that. Because I knew he'd go back to his table and they'd go, that's Tori. She's declared suppressive, which is what happened. But anyway, I did that for a few years. And then I worked with kids. Oh, wait. Well, yeah, because that's right. I had Justin. Wait. No, but he was already. Oh, yeah, I worked at Apple School when I was in Scientology. That's right. I was trying to think. Because I remember I worked with kids, but it was when I was in Scientology. So afterwards, I did that. And then I sold encyclopedias. I told you guys about that. And that was fun. I made great money at that. I've been a top salesperson in almost everything I did. Then I sold gold. I started a gold business and made a lot of money with that. Not gold, but like jewelry, gold. And that was back when you could walk in. We'd walk into City Hall with $40,000 in a bag. Can't do that now, but we did then. And I don't know. There were. I think actually my gold business I did while I was in Scientology. Yeah, because it was with Vicky, and she wouldn't talk to me after I left. So I did the encyclopedia thing. I don't know. It's hard for me to remember which things were. I sold security systems, and that was fun. That was really, really, really. I made a ton of money on it, and it was all men, all engineers, and me. And I was sort of like Lucille Ball out selling security. But man, I could close them because I cared about them. They didn't. They were just all, we know this and we know that. And so people would say, okay, we have to think about it. And I'd go in and say, do you feel secure? And they'd say no. And I'd say, all right, show me what you're concerned about. And then I'd close them. Good morning, everyone. I'm in the hospital. Please pray for me. Justice, what happened? Okay, we will pray for you. I hope you're okay. What can you tell us what's going on? We all have more strength than we know. Yeah, that's what I think too. Love it. Alice, will be hard to shut them down. I don't think so. But it might be. You might be right. I hope everything's all right, Justice. I really do too. We're definitely going to say prayers for you. YT Watcher, Tori, as a member of the public, do you think they could have locked you up? Oh, yeah. Leah Remini reported being stuck at Flag for ethics training after her incident with Tom Cruise's wedding. It's rare for public to be. Yeah, they locked me up in Flag too. They wouldn't let me go. And it was awful. It was really awful. I mean, I had to make up the damage. I mean, what happened is me and my friend joined staff. This is back when they had 5-year contracts. And we joined staff at LA Org. And she promised us we'd make $500 a week. And I thought, okay, I can do that. So then, of course, we're not making $500 a week. We're making $150 a week or something. And so now I get to Flag and I say, look, I can't do this. I can't. I'm not making enough money. I just can't do it. And so they put me into lower conditions and threw me off the level and this and that. And, I had to make up the damage. And I said, well, why don't I go back to LA, Oregon, make up the damage there? If there's any damage, that would be there. No, you can't leave Flag because you're an OT7. So you have to stay here. So, it was just awful. I had to find someone and help them, coach them through different things. And I did. But then they wouldn't let me go then. I mean, because when you're in lowers, you have to go around and get signatures for people saying, okay, we let you back in the group. So I couldn't do it. I was in Clearwater. So I sent my son to go and get signatures. And those asses, they would not sign it. A whole bunch of them. People always sign them. It really hurt my feelings. It was one of the big wake-up calls of like, these are not my friends. You know what I mean? It was like, wow. And they wouldn't sign it. I mean, some did, but not enough. So then the commanding officer then, who's now, they routed her down because she got pregnant. But she said, oh, I have to buy $150 worth of buttons for all the staff, which is, again, totally out tech, completely arbitrary, weirdo shit, right? But I'm trapped at Flag, And I just burst out crying. I was in the lobby and I just started crying. And this guy from England that I really, really love, he's a really kind guy. And he came up and he goes, Tori, what's going on? And he kind of gave me a hug and he goes, I said, I just can't do it. I can't stay here. I can't afford it. I don't have the money to buy these stupid buttons. And I can't take it. You know what I mean? It was just like, I just couldn't take it anymore. And he said, okay, tell you what, here's my credit card. Get whatever you have to get. That's it. And I said, all right, well, I'll pay you back. And he goes, no, you don't have to pay me back. Just get it and go home. And so I did. I got the buttons. We turned in the liability formula again. And now it's 2 a.m. I'm at the sandcastle. Everybody's asleep. And this girl from Australia goes, God damn it, Tori, we are going to get that thing. Because this is back when they were faxing things back and forth. So the fax comes in at 2 a.m. and she jumps over the reception. She leaps over the receptionist thing and she gets it out. And she goes, all right, here it is. Now go tomorrow and go home. It's like, honestly, oh, when you think about it, that these guys get away being a church. It's just unbelievable. David Miscavige, your days are coming, babe. Love it. That's so true, but it would be a hell of a test and a testament. Yeah, true. Oh, yeah, Justice, definitely. We are praying for you here too. Oh, hi, Dave. Hi. No flipping burgers. Oh, can you believe that? That girl from Australia jumping over the desk at the sandcastle to get me my liability formula. Dave's probably the only one here that knows what I'm talking about. I hope it not need to be shut down. Oh, okay. Happy 25th anniversary, darling Tori. Thank you. Have to catch the rest on replay. It's okay. It's all here. They always tell Sea Org members that if they leave, they'll end up flipping burgers. Right. Exactly. Yeah, no. I know there were so many lies that were built in. There's no people out there. The only people that you'll ever want to be with are here in Scientology. Everyone else, they're just like downstats. You don't want to be around them. Nothing could have been farther from the truth. Everywhere I went, wonderful people were helping me. Kind people talking to me. You, Dave, online, people in person. It was amazing. I mean, it was shocking. It was really, truly shocking. As if there's anything wrong with that. Most Sea Org would love the freedom that provided. It's true. It's true. There's nothing wrong with it. But it is funny how they position it like it's bad. Love it. Tori escaped 25 years ago this weekend. Here's her TikTok. Thank you. I did this weekend. Wow. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? You're still in, girl. You're still in, girl? Maureen, you're talking to me that I'm still in Scientology? No. Great story, Tori. That happens a lot to the flag public. I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if people knew the shit that goes down within that group, they just wouldn't believe it. I mean, they really wouldn't. I've thought about it. You know, we should really start like a website with just like story after story, just like weirdo stuff like that. Because it doesn't really fit in anywhere, but it would be fantastic to have it all. 17 years for me in a few weeks. All right. Good for you. Yeah, I think we should. I don't know how to start websites. Yeah, congratulations. Totally. Hi, Katie Light. I'm sorry you missed the story, but you can listen to it on the replay if you want. Anyway, it was an exciting night for me. Thanks, love it. Yeah, that's good. Good job on you, Dave. And Dave has helped tons of people get out, just so you know. I mean, he's like a huge help. So there you go. We do what we can do. And now Tom DeVock, I don't know if you guys have been following him, but if you haven't, do. He is panties after David Miscavige. And I'm telling you, woo! I would not want to be Miscavige. He knows how to write, too. He's a good writer. Always part of your replay crew, Precious. Okay. All right. That's good. I'm happy with that. Just leave a comment, though. I really like it when the replay crew leave comments. So today I went to the doctor's and I got all kinds of good stuff. So that was good. And then, and I got a new doctor. So that was good. And then I went and got my nails done which you can't really see how pretty they are, but they're a really pretty color. See, they're kind of a purple, but they're darker than they look up there. But anyway, that was fun. I got my nails done. I have to go 2 a.m. in Kentucky. Happy anniversary, sweet Tori. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you, Dave. Shout out to Macy's and the replay crew. Yeah. If you see this, that's nice, JB808. Love the new nail color. Thank you, love it. I don't know if I'm going to see you tomorrow or not. That was the plan, I thought. You let me know. Thank you, Dave. I know. I like that's my little fun thing. But anyway, there you go. Tomorrow I'll have my bags packed, and then they don't show up. And I call up and I go, what happened to the van? And the guy goes, oh, some anonymous guy called and canceled it. And I had been out trying to handle these protesters for years. And they'd all warn me of this kind of stuff. And I'd say, oh, they don't do that kind of stuff. And now they did it to me. And it was like, wow, that was a big change in my world. Tori, I never heard the story of you being locked up at Flag. Terrible and forced to be away from your son and husband. Plus rocking up more debt. Yeah, for the lodging and you can't work. I know. That's the thing. And they want to be a church. It's like, hell no. And they don't want us to say anything. Wrong people. And the ironic thing is that I was, and I've said this a million times, but I was going to leave quietly under the radar. I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to protest. I wasn't going to make videos, nothing. But you know what? They turned me into an activist. And here I am, 25 years later. 25 years later. And I have millions of subscribers on TikTok. And I'm 78 years old. How shocking is that? Wow. I mean, that's why you never know what your life's going to be like. So always keep things open. Always be willing to, listen to somebody, try to help people. Maybe they've got some advice for you. Pay attention, listen to it, because people have good advice. They really do. Glad you are speaking about it. Yeah, me too, Alice. I have been for 25 years. It's been kind of a wild thing. I mean, YouTube, I've made over 1,000 videos, but now I'm on TikTok, and that's good too. Please tell Sophie that I didn't forget her. Just overwhelmed with I'm so sorry, Katie Light. I hear ya. We will tell her. All right, you rascals. Well, anyway, do you have anything else for me to say or ask or anything credible, Tori? How does it feel to have impacted many generations? It really feels great. It does. It's just dramatic. it's like, I just kind of go, wow. It really, it's kind of surprising to me. It really is. Sorry you're overwhelmed. Sending you healing vibes. Yeah. Yeah, JB808, it's incredible. It is. The whole thing is incredible. And it's one of those where I thought, okay, I'll tell the story a few times and that'll be it. Wrong. Love you, Tori. Thank you for honoring your freedom and helping so many along the way. Thank you, love it, and thank you for helping me. It's really been a great connection. YouTube watcher. Off topic, I've seen videos of Nancy Mady and Denise Larry Brennan speaking and protesting together. Were they part of the LMT or another organization? Not really. Denise was Larry, just so anybody doesn't know. And then she transferred to being Denise. And Nancy was here in LA and kind of going back and forth doing training. She's now a trained chaplain and has been in the COVID unit for years since COVID happened. But she would go back and forth there. And Denise told me on the phone, look, I want to come out, but I don't want it to be a big deal. So I'm going to go to this SP party and I'll announce it there. And I said, Denise, if I'm going to tell you something, if you announce that you have changed from a man to a woman at an SP party, that is all people are going to be talking about. So my suggestion to you, thank you, Katie Light. My suggestion to you is announce it on xscientology.net, which was a news group that we had. And just announce it, and then you can start telling your story. And it worked out perfectly. She told her story. People got to ask her questions. She told more of her story. People got to ask her questions. It was really great. It was very healing for her. She actually gave me this little angel. This is from Denise. Isn't that sweet? I keep her nearby. But anyway, so Nancy and I kind of helped her. A bunch of people did, but Nancy and I were kind of helping her together. I love it when love it and you are able to connect. I know, me too, JB808. You're kind of near. Oh, no, you're in Hawaii. That's right. It's 49ers for Life who said he was here in LA. If you're in LA, call me. And if you don't know how to call me, use that number. That's my cell phone number. And you can just call me or send me a text. And then we'll get together. We'll be there in December. All right, Alice. Good. Well, maybe we can get together. That'll be fun. I hope I can make it the trek over there to meet you within the next year. Me too. I really do. Or me there. I can trek there. I can swim there. Anyway, I love all of you guys, and I want to thank you all. You've been a tremendous support for me. And many people that aren't here now, but they have been. And if they hear this, I want them to know I'm thanking them too. I mean, really, there's a great gratefulness that I feel. Because I honestly, I don't know what would have happened to me without YouTube. I don't know. Because I made friends that way. You know, I lost all my friends. So I started making new friends, and I'd come on here every night, and it's like, there were my friends, you know, and it was like, all right, well, I can get through this. It really helped. It really means a lot. You have no idea. Okay, so we love you, Tori. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Dave, and I love you too. I really do. I love you and your wife. She's the two of you are great. I told you, you've always been a fun thing for all of us because he's in Australia, so he had the inside scoop the hours before we did. Because like at 2 a.m. the next day, Dave would have the inside scoop on Scientology if something was coming about. And we'd be like, Dave's here. Plus, you're always fun. He had was it the Turtle Hotel or the Frog Hotel? I forget. It was a hotel. I think it was the Frog Hotel, right? Anyway, it was so sweet. Because I think my dad had a little hotel for turtles in our backyard. So it reminded me of that. All right, kids. Well, anyway, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you for sharing my 25 years. The Frog Motel. That's right. Oh, God. I love that. I love frogs, and I love that you had a frog motel. I think that's so sweet. And it was because it rained there a bunch, so he made a frog motel for him. All right. Well, good night, you guys. I love you and thank you from the top and the bottom of my heart. All the frogs that I rescued from the swimming pool. Oh, that is so cute. Very sweet. Sweet now as you were then. Amazing. You make me smile. Thank you, JB808, for your kind gift. Thank you so much. And for just being you and being here. Good night, all. Thank you, Tori, and love it. Yes. All right. Peace out. You guys, if I don't see you, have a wonderful weekend. And if I get captured, you'll see it on the news. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. See ya. Let's see. Today's what? Friday? Is today Friday? Yeah, yesterday was Thursday because I went to Weight Watchers. So it'll probably be Sunday. So I might pop in, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, for now, thank you and I love you and have a wonderful weekend.